To the Keith Harris Show, Industry International today. As usual, it's wonderful having you with us. Not everybody just, in American International, but everybody all over the globe that tunes in with us every day, Monday through Friday from 5 to 7. Hope everyone's having a wonderful Friday. Now, without any further ado, on the line with me right now, as a matter of fact, we have wonderful actor. He's a producer, a film producer as well. He also does some writing, and he teaches some courses in the film industry. And we'll get into all of that with our special guest today, D.M.V.KeithHarris. How you doing, sir?
Hey, good, Keith. How are you doing, buddy?
Hey, I'm doing wonderful, David. It's Friday. It's been a productive week, so everything's great.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, I'm glad you're good, and I hope you're staying warm. Are you in North Carolina right now?
Oh yeah, man. I'm in North Carolina, and it is. You know what? It warmed up a little bit today compared to the last 2 days. The temperatures have been freezing.
I know, but compared to the guys up in Canada, we were talking about Toronto. This is a heat wave, you know.
You know what? You're right. As a matter of fact, I was doing a show yesterday with a co-host of mine from Toronto, Canada, and we were going back and forth about that. And you know what? Yeah, compared to them, compared to them, it's pretty much a nice day. But 'cause you're in Atlanta now, right?
Yeah, I'm in Atlanta. Yeah, I came here from Los Angeles not too long ago to open up a studio and open up what I call Revelation Studios and David Heavener Entertainment. And so, yeah, we're shooting movies back here. I'm still working out of LA also, but I'm also back here.
Okay. Now listen, David, you got plenty, you got a lot of work. For those who are familiar with you, for those that are not, I'll let everybody know now. You have a lot of different projects under your belt. I mean, acted, and if these numbers are higher or lower, correct me, but I think it's you've acted in just about 30 some films, produced quite a bit of number of films, and done directing as well. Now, when did this path all begin for you as a child? Where you did you have this dream of being into the industry? Did you kind of stumble into it? Where did it start for you?
Well, I had a dream of performing back when I was 7 years old. We had a garage in the back of our house, and I used to clear it out, put seats in there, little chairs, and have it tie a sheet up as a curtain. And I would always be the good guy, Superman, and I would make my sisters be the bad guys, and I would get kids in the neighborhood to come and watch the play. Yeah. And I charge them a nickel, and I figured, hey man, I can actually do something I love and make money at it. So that was my first attempt at the acting business.
So you pretty much had done created your own your own theater right there where you worked in.
Well, I did. Of course, I had a problem keeping actors because I was always the good guy, and I'd always kill them off. So after you kill about 30 kids in the neighborhood, you don't have much to choose from, and it's hard to dress a dog up like a villain. So eventually, I had to close it down.
Right. Now, were some of your first, in your first projects, did you start out, were you acting first and then you kind of went into producing after that, or did you produce first?
Yeah, what happened, Keith, is I was a songwriter in Nashville for some years, and in my 20s, I went out to Los Angeles to write songs for movies, and I had no really intention of getting in the film industry other than writing songs. Right. And I pitched my song to an Asian guy who was making a movie. I wanted him to hear my song, and he thought I was an actor. So he asked me if I would audition. I did, and I told him, I said, well, I don't mind auditioning, but I don't really know how to act. What do I do? He said, you act like Clint Eastwood. So I did this cheap imitation of Clint Eastwood. I know what you're thinking, punk. Fire 5 shots or only 4 with the midst of all the, You have to ask yourself, do you feel lucky with Do You Punk? And so I got the part, and the problem is there were two problems. One, it was a martial arts movie, and I didn't know martial arts. Number two, it was in Mandarin. They shot it in Hong Kong.
Oh, wow.
And I said, well, I can't. They said, no, you're going to speak English. We'll dub it in. But anyway, it became successful over in that part of the country, that part of the world. And when it did, it opened up a lot of opportunities for me as an actor. So I started acting in what they call international foreign B movies. And then I had an opportunity to direct and write and produce, and that's when all that started.
Oh, okay. And now taking it, going back to like you say, when you were doing soundtracks, there's a question I always wonder. When you're making a soundtrack, is it kind of like normal, I suppose, with videos, where you have to kind of have an idea of the script first, and then you know what to write towards the script? Or in a soundtrack, because there's so many different songs in a soundtrack, or do you just do you have to know that particular part of the movie for the scene that you're writing a song for?
Well, you're talking about scoring a movie. When you say a soundtrack, is that what you mean? The score, the music behind the scene?
I get.
Behind the. Yeah. Well, the way that works, we cut the movie together, edit it together, and then once it's finished, you give it to the musician. He watches it, he or she, and they score it. They put music behind it. So the answer is you have to see the scene. Now, having said that, there's another type of background music which is called source music, and it might be a radio playing. It might be a song that you had written. Like I've had songs that I've written, years ago that have appeared in movies recently, because they just use them as individual songs, standalone songs,
right.
So it depends on the kind of soundtrack you're talking about.
Oh, okay. Which acting, I know you enjoy that, but is there one that you kind of favor? Is there one you lean towards more when it between the acting and the producing?
Well, if I could just act the rest of my life, just act, and do parts that I want to do, that's what I would do. Producing is I have to do it in order to do what I love.
Right.
It's not that I don't like to produce, but producing is kind of the side of your brain, like the accountant side,
Right.
And so I like to stay creative, but
yeah.
But you do what you got to do,
Right. It's producing's more the work side. If you could write yourself into, and let me know if you've done this before, but if you could write yourself into your own movie and play your favorite role, bad guy, good guy, whatever it may be, who would you create? What character would you? What would be your character?
I have created it. If you watch any of my movies, especially the ones I did for HBO back in the 90s and early 2000s, you'll see I always created the anti-hero, the guy who got knocked down, odds are against him, and he comes back and kills the bad guy, saves the town, and gets the girl. And we need more of that. We need for kids to see real heroes, not bad guys that are good and good guys that are bad, but we need to see, clear cut, the good and the bad.
Right, the difference between the two, and I think that's the classic. I think that's the classic way, as you say, like more back in those years that movies were like, and they seem a little bit different nowadays, in general.
Well, they are, and part of it is it's a demise. It's our society has deteriorated. And it will continue to deteriorate. And kids don't understand good as much as we used to growing up. They don't understand bad. Everything's kind of bunched together into a gray. There's no black and white anymore.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. A lot of cloud and confusion. Now,
Confused. I like that. Yeah.
I hear a lot of people. A lot of conversations happens, or sometimes I hear people say the difference in the film age of making movies and the digital side of things now. In your opinion, now that movies are digital and can be done a lot of different ways, like using different operating systems, has that contributed a lot more positive to the movie industry now, or has it made it harder for some people who used to use film to make the transition?
Well, I think it's been very detrimental to the film industry. First of all, do you notice we still call it the film business, the film industry?
Right, and and sorry to cut you off, Dave, but oddly enough, I can't get away from that word. I like saying the film industry. I don't know if I'm correct in doing that, though.
No, you are. I mean, everybody says it. Nobody wants to say, "Hey, we're going to go make a digital."
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, nobody wants to say that because digital sounds cheap. And look, I shoot digital now. I don't shoot film anymore because it's just not cost effective. And the good side about digital is you can get it fast and get it quick. The bad side with digital, you get it fast and you get it quick, and anybody can get it. It used to be when we made movies on film, you had to either have money or you had to know what you were doing, or both. Now there's kids and people out there making these movies for 10 cents. They got their own camera, got their own lights, call themselves a filmmaker. They make all this stuff, and it never sees the light of day, and it clutters up the market. And, oh, I'm coming to make a film. Oh, yeah, me too. I just made 10. Oh, yeah? You did? Yeah. Me and my buddies. But, I mean, there's no cachet to it anymore. It used to be, I could walk into a restaurant, and somebody says, "What do you do?" And I'd say, "I'm a filmmaker." And all of a sudden, you hear silence in the room.
Yeah.
People would stop and look at you. Wow, this guy's a filmmaker. That's something. Now, you can say I'm a filmmaker, and, people just kind of yawn and go, "So what? So's my little 7-year-old nephew."
Right. So it's like, yeah, and so it's taken away. And then, like you said, with the digital age, it makes it, like you said, a lot more people can get their hands on films. Even with being able to stream movies nowadays, a lot of times that kind of hurts the market, doesn't it, Dave?
Yeah, it does. It lowers it. Look, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
What meal would you rather eat at Thanksgiving? Would it be your grandma slaved all day over a hot stove, or she started the night before? At the end of the
course.
Day, you're going to have a home-cooked meal. Or would you rather have a TV dinner nuked in a microwave? Which one?
Right. You know the answer to that question, exactly.
That's the difference between film and digital, okay?
Oh.
And again, I shoot digital. I shoot it because that's the only thing you can shoot now.
Mm-hmm.
But the truth is, it devalues and degrades the film industry. So much to the point, we still call it the film industry, even though that's a lie. It's not the film industry.
Right. Now, what was your first filmmaking experience like for you? You as you say, you always had it in you, and you knew from the beginning. So you started out as a kid doing it, but when you really got into your first feature or your first film that you knew was going to be out there to people, what was it like? Was it a ooh ah situation for you, or was it a piece of cake?
Well, I'm not going to say it was a piece of cake. Nothing like that, a piece of cake. But my first one was called Outlaw Horse, and I made that about 27 years ago. And it starred Frank Stallone, Sylvester's brother, and Paul Smith, who played in he played Popeye. Robin Williams, he was anyway, I played a country singer whose wife was raped and killed, and a little girl kidnapped by a bunch of Los Angeles street gangs.
Mm-hmm.
And so I strapped on my 6-gun, put on my cowboy hat, and it was kind of Death Wish meets modern day Clint Eastwood type. And it took us a year to shoot that. We shot on the weekends for very little money. We shot on film.
Mm-hmm.
And then after a year, everybody kind of abandoned me. And I was left with all this film to try to edit. And I got lucky. I found an editor, and I got very lucky. I found a guy named Ronnie Hadar, who was producing, or who went on to produce the Power Rangers. And Ronnie Hadar came, and we took the film to a new level, finished it up, and showed it to a company called Transworld Entertainment, who was a big company at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And they released it limited theatrical, and it was a huge hit on VHS at that time. It was very successful.
Oh, okay. How do you feel about going to screenings? I mean, do you like attending screenings of your own work?
I do. I mean, I don't screen much anymore because, like I said, it's digital.
Uh-huh.
I guess you make so many films, you just don't sit and have call cast and crew to come and watch the movie anymore. But yeah, when I do screen, I'll sit and watch it, absolutely.
Oh, okay. How about the film? Let me ask about film festivals. Are you into those? Like I know they're part of the industry, but
am I into what?
Into the film festivals? Like, do you attend?
Film festivals have a place, and some of them are good, but I'm not, because look, I was a film distributor for many years. I distributed movies too. I distributed my own movies, and people would send me films that won the Sundance Film Festival, big festivals, and I would watch them, and I would say to my sales team, I'd say, I can't give this movie away. It won all these film festival awards, but there's no market for it.
Oh, man.
I feel like a film festival world is kind of their own yes man. They create their own vibe, but it's useless in the real world. I'm not putting them down. I'm just saying, they're good for a certain, I think, a part of the industry, but they're film festivals, and they need to just stay film festivals.
Right. Now, just talking in the film industry, is there, and we kind of touched on that a minute ago, but you see every now and then you have the huge movies that come out in the theaters, and just like you say, there's so many at the same time. There's so many other people filming. The question that I ask is, other than the few I don't know, 4 or 5 big movies that come out, is there money to really be made in this business, or is it something that most people just kind of have to do for the love of it, and then just hope that you have that big hit sometimes for other people, not even necessarily yourself?
Yeah, I mean, if you were to ask me that 10 years ago or 15 years ago, the answer would have been, there's a lot of money in it, and I've made a lot of money.
Right.
And that's how I've been able to do this for a living.
Uh-huh.
There was a huge amount of money, not just a little, but I'm talking a huge amount, but especially for independents like me.
Right.
But what happened was, 10 years ago, the studios came into the marketplace that we were in, and they kind of bastardized the industry by lowering the price on everything. They caused DVDs to sell for $9.99 instead of VHS is selling for $49.90. But they wanted to sell 1 million DVDs. Well, they pushed guys like us out of the market, and they just destroyed the market. So right now, there is no ability for a filmmaker to make money in the film industry unless you have a hit. The formula of spending $200,000 and making back $400,000, pay back your investors and $200,000 profit, those days are gone. Will they come back? I hope so. And there are ways that you can make, it's called niche marketing, which I teach in my film seminars. Because there's never a time where you can't make money. You can always make money.
Right.
But I'm talking, as a general rule right now, it's very difficult. But I teach in my film classes how you have to go niche marketing. And this is very important for filmmakers to understand and to learn. That the days of the way we used to do it are very, very difficult now. And so there's new ways to do it.
Right. Because, as a matter of fact, speaking about your teachings, your DVD that teaches the industry, and it's called Learn How to Make Movies That Make Money. And that title it really speaks for itself. Like, tell us about that DVD and those courses.
Yeah, you can get a copy of the book by going to davidheavener.com and click on Film and Acting Academy. You can go on there and order the DVDs, and you can also get one-on-one classes. So a whole array of things you can get. But basically, what it is, Keith, I took all my knowledge and I put it in a book, and I teach it in these DVDs, and I teach it in person of what is the technique of success in the film industry. You could drop me anywhere in the United States without a camera, without any money, and I will make a movie, find a way to make it, and I'll find a way to sell it and actually make money. But I do it because I go off certain principles that people have to learn. On the other hand, you could take someone, give them $1 million, drop them in any town in America, tell them to make a movie, they make it for $1 million, and they go flat broke. They can't sell it. So it's really not about, it's about the principles. It's about the technique, and that's what I teach.
And you know what? That happens a lot. I mean, even to filmmakers who make films all the time. That happens. And, I guess it's important for people to understand that, in that business, it's easy to go out and spend a lot of money to make a film, as you say, and not make any money back. And that is an important rule. I mean, just even hearing from so many filmmakers myself who do this, it's amazing how many just kind of complain about not making their money back. I think a lot of people in and outside of the film industry that plan to get into the industry need to pick up that book or see that DVD.
Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate that. And here's the other thing, too. In one of my seminars, I had a guy come up to me, and he said, he goes, I'm a doctor. He says, I'm a neurosurgeon. He goes, I have no problem, operating on people and doing this. He goes, but man, this movie making stuff, this stuff is complicated. And I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute, this guy's a neurosurgeon. and he's telling me that making movies is complicated. He's talking about not just making them, he's talking about selling them.
Right.
And so if a guy, and by the way, I asked him, I said, how long did you go to school? And he said, well, I went to school like 12 or 13 years for him to be a neurosurgeon. And he's telling me filmmaking is complicated, and yet there's some of these kids that don't even go out and read a book on how to do it. They just want to go out and try to do it. Right. I mean, give me a break. And it doesn't mean going to film school for 4 years that they're going to tell you how to do it either, because that's a whole nother conversation.
Right. Now, in your position of being a pro at this and doing it for so long, it would come easy to you. But is it really easy? I mean, because look, like you said, there are a lot of people doing it, but they're not quite doing it right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I guess the better question would be, to do it well is probably a little more complicated.
Well, it depends on what you mean doing it well.
Well,
to me, you only do it well if what you make makes money and you can keep doing it for a living.
Right. That's what I mean.
There are people that can make nice movies, and quite frankly, I've seen movies that are brilliant. They're very good quality. The people have told some sort of a story. But then I'll ask them, I'll go, well, how much profit did you make? And they look at me like a deer in headlights. Profit? What do you mean? I go, well, I base a movie on the sellability of a film.
Right.
I said, I'm not a film festival. You don't just show me a movie and ask me my opinion. What do you care about my opinion?
Right.
That's not going to make you any money.
That's right.
I judge, is this a good movie? Well, I'll tell you if it's good. If you come back to me in a year and tell me how much profit you made, then I'll tell you how good that movie is.
Right. And you know what? And I'm going to ask a question, and don't give away too much, because I really want people to go pick this up. Even like I said, all of the film industry people out there that are listening right now, you need to go get this book, from David. But the question I want to ask is, is there a routine? Is there a formula to or a particular way to actually sell a film? Let's say you make a film and it's good. Where do people go for the funding? I hear these terms. I hear crowdfunding a lot, and different things like that. Different places where people to go get funding. Are these? They're good ideas if you can get the money, obviously. But are there other ways to go as well?
Other than crowdfunding?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can go to an investor and show them your business plan, and I help people put together the business plans. And you can raise money that way. I teach people, how to talk to investors and how not to insult them and things to say and when not to talk. So you can raise money from investors. You can also, if it's a big enough budget, you can go to like the Sci-Fi Channel, and they'll sometimes put up half the money. You can go to distributors, and they'll sometimes do what they call a minimum guarantee, or they'll put up half the budget. But for guys that are just making movies for $20,000 and $30,000 and $40,000, the best way to go is crowdfunding. Second best way is investors. And then the other way you can do it, because I talked about movies making profits, there's also ways to do it with non-profit. Sometimes a movie is not geared to make money. Sometimes it's geared to deliver a message. And so let's say you form a non-profit, and the non-profit is all about child abuse, and you make a movie on child abuse, or a faith-based movie that's based on the Gospels.
Okay.
You can find people that believe in what you're doing, believe in the mission, and they will, they'll fund it.
Oh, okay. Now, would it have to be, after they fund it, would it have to be sold as a non-profit, or are you allowed to sell it to make a profit, and they would, obviously get some of the money back? Yeah,
well, again, I talk about this in my book, but
okay. Well, then, yeah.
If it's a non-profit, 501c3, you have to abide by the rules of a non-profit, which we'd have to have another show to talk about that. But,
right.
You can always pay yourself a salary, I assume, but I don't know. I would not be able to advise people on that. But the money would have to go back into nonprofit and pay expenses and bills and stuff, and then maybe you could try and make another movie with the profits. I don't know, but it's a way to keep making movies and keep getting funded if you can find people that believe in the cause.
Oh, okay. Going back to the acting a bit, Ghost Aliens. You had a role in Ghost Aliens. Can you tell us a bit about that? Now, as a matter of fact, is that still to be released, or is that the project is being worked on, or?
Ghost Aliens, I don't know. It may have another title.
Oh, okay.
Who's in Ghost Aliens? I could be. It's just I don't know. A lot of these movies I shoot have working titles, and they change the title.
Oh.
So people ask me, you're in so and so, and I go, I am.
Okay, well, you know what? They may have very well. Yeah, they may have very well changed the title on you in this one, because I checked and you're in it.
Alright, well, that's good. As long as I got paid for it, I'm fine.
Yeah, you got credit for it. No doubt about that. So yeah.
Right. But as far as those type of movies, I did Legion: The Final Exorcism. It was Roddy Piper was in that, and it's a true story about a girl possessed. I wrote, directed, starred, and produced that. That came out several years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And the one I did many years ago, which became a cult classic, a Troma released it. It's called Outlaw Prophet.
Oh, wow.
And that you'll have to check that one out.
Go check it out. Now, what about Eye of the Stranger? Because I noticed that had there were I think there were two different covers I saw for that. Is there a part 1 and 2, or did the covers just change? And that was a
yeah. They when countries buy it, different countries all over the world buy it, they change the cover to fit their the taste of their market.
Right.
So, Eye of the Stranger was an HBO movie I did. I wrote it, directed, starred and produced it. It was me and Martin Landau and Sally Kirkland, and Stella Stevens, Joe Estevez, a bunch of people on it. Don Swayze, Patrick Swayze's brother.
Right. Okay. Now, what were your to you in your idea? What were your top 3 films that you liked? Whether they were ones that you produced, starred in, or just ones that you watched or liked. What would be your top 3 classic good movies? Favorite movies?
Well, ones that I like, that I watch, is one called Human Comedy with Mickey Rooney and I think it's Mickey Rooney and Frank Morgan, who played the wizard in The Wizard of Oz. It took place back in the 40s, turn of the century. It's a great film. I did the play years ago. I played one of the characters, and so I ended up watching the movie. I love it.
Okay.
Yeah, and as far as my movies, of course, Prime Target with me and Tony Curtis and Isaac Hayes.
Yeah.
I love working with those guys. That was another one of my HBO things. Twisted Justice with me and Eric Estrada and Jim Brown, Shannon Tweed. That was a fun movie.
Oh man, and being a great yourself and working with some of the greats. Now, in Prime Target, did you get to indulge in any action in that movie?
Oh God, if you watch it, that's all it was action.
Right. Holy wow.
Just total action. Yeah.
What's your favorite? What's your favorite when you're in the films? I know you do it all, but do you like to shoot, or do you like to fight and kick, or which one's your favorite? What's your favorite way to take somebody out?
Oh well, I mean, it just depends on the character.
Yeah.
It depends on the character. I mean, I did a movie called Fugitive X.
Yeah.
And Innocent Target. That was another HBO thing. I was shooting constantly in that. I did a lot of fighting, but mostly shooting. I mean, constant shooting.
Mm-hmm.
But then there was a movie called Raging Cajun I did with Charlene Tilton and Vinny the Jet, and that was mostly fighting. I played a kickboxer.
Oh, okay. Now, what is, so far in your career in the industry, what is the best piece of advice that you have heard, or that you've ever heard before, whether it was directed to you or just anybody else? What was the best piece of advice that you've ever heard in this industry, even if you've given it?
The best piece of advice, well, it's the best piece of advice that I gave myself.
Mm-hmm.
That's really
makes sense.
all I can say. The best piece of advice is, it starts with a B. You have to believe. If you don't believe, you're only going to achieve what you believe. Okay?
Right.
So, if you can see it, if you can feel it and touch it and taste it, you're going to achieve it. You're going to get it. If you can really do that, and I mean really do it, okay? You will achieve what it is you're looking to do. But if you just go out and you fantasize about it and you talk about it and you take a couple classes, this and that, you might get lucky. But
right.
Chances are it's going to be a tough uphill climb.
Right, because I guess for a lot of people out there that that are listening or aspiring to come up in this industry, I feel like there's paying dues. I'm assuming you really have to pay your dues in this industry because a lot of it has to do with the who you knows, but then as well you have to prove yourself to be quality and be able to play these roles. Now, when I know you said how your first audition was. After your first audition for a film, what was it like after that for you? Was it pretty easy going? I mean, were you ever nervous during any audition?
Yeah, well, in my world after that, which I called the indie film world, I became known in that world as an actor. And so I didn't do much auditioning. It was basically at that time about just buying a person's name.
Oh.
And if you can get to the point where someone could say, hey, I've got David Heavener in my film, and I've got, blah, 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 and blah, 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 you're to the point where you're probably not auditioning.
Right.
Probably just going in for an interview, meeting the producer. They want to talk with you. They want to see if, you're on drugs or on alcohol or whatever. If you're not, then, they can work out a deal with your agent price-wise.
Yeah.
Then you're in the movie. So I did some auditioning. I did audition for Fred Dreyer. He had a show called Hunter. I don't know if you've ever heard of the TV show Hunter many years ago.
Yeah.
Auditioned for him as a bad guy, and I got a reoccurring role on Hunter. But then soon after, he quit, and the show got taken off the air. A few things I auditioned for throughout my career, but for the most part, no. It was mostly either I put myself in my own movies, or people knew who I was, and they would just make an offer.
So they was like, hey, get David Heavener on the phone and get him out here, pretty much. I mean, during that time, there was a period where, having names in your movie, indie names like that, could sell your movie to the buyers at Cannes Film Festival and American Film Market. Right. Have you ever ran into a film that you decided that you just weren't going to take that role? There was something about it that you didn't like, or something you couldn't stand behind, or you didn't want to do that in that film. Has that ever happened?
No, a couple of times it's happened where I've gone into the producer and I've read the script and say, I'll do this, and it could be something pretty cool, but I'm going to make a couple suggestions that I really hope you'll listen to what I'm saying, because it's not only the fact I don't like it and I think it's inappropriate, I just think you're going to be able to have a better chance of selling it. And that happened a couple times, and I got lucky. The producer and the director, they listened to what I said, and they went along with it, and
okay.
So it worked out okay.
Okay. Now, so the book and the DVD and stuff that's happening. What can we expect, or are there any projects that you can speak about that we should look out for, or everyone should be paying attention to coming up for the near future, or anything?
Yeah, well, I'm making a chain of 5-minute horror films which will come out next Halloween. They're based on urban legend stories. You'll hear about them sometime next year. When I say next year, this year. We're already in 2000.
Yeah, right.
Wow. That, and then I've got a new studio I'm launching called Revelation Studios, and it's a studio that is it's faith-based. It's going to be not so much family movies, but movies about life, about how do we deal with things from a faith perspective.
Oh, okay.
And I'm even going to have once-a-month meetings with filmmakers and actors and musicians that are faith-based meetings that we all can come together and kind of understand each other's struggles with our art and so forth. So that's kind of my new mission, and you'll be hearing more about it, hopefully.
Okay, yeah. Look, I'm sure I will. And the 5-minute horrors, is it going to be? So when you're doing and again, I asked you this without really giving without you having to give anything away. But will that, to be able to do that, will there be certain episodes where someone might not necessarily get murdered in every particular episode because they're 5 minutes?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think everybody gets. I think in every one you're going to have a bunch of killing.
Oh man, that's going to be woo.
Yeah. No, they're pretty cool. They're 5 to 8 minutes long. I actually like it. I'm digging it. I'm on my 4th one now, and actually I'm on my 5th one. I've done 4 already. So I'm digging it. I think it's great. They're 2-day shoots, and the budgets are pretty good considering considering it's just 2 days.
You know what?
I think you'll be hearing more about these 5-minute movies, Keith, as the years go by.
Yeah, because that sounds pretty exciting. I know a lot of people watch. Look, when somebody can turn to a good flick, and the people are getting every one just seems like it would be riveting. I mean, the killing's happening so fast when you talk about in that amount of minutes. Like there's never a dull moment. Some things, movies when people watch or shorts that people watch, it's like they could get it might drag out a little bit or whatever, but that's going to be exciting, like fast pace at all times, high speed or rush. So that's going to be.
Yeah, that's why I think it's the future. These short, when I say short films, it's not, it's more than a short film. It's really a feature film condensed down to 5 or 10 minutes.
Oh man.
So I think that's the future.
That's what's up. Well, we definitely look forward to those, and the faith films. I'm sure that that's going to touch a lot of people too, just with so many things happening out here and being able to give a understanding and give a lot of people a way to maybe understand. With those particular ones you might work on, do you think that people will be able to grab something from those and that maybe learn or even give consideration to others' faiths, or just kind of make them think twice about certain things?
Yeah. Well, I hope so. The way I see it, reason I'm doing it is I think God, you have God the Father. He's been shortchanged by religion. In other words, religion has bastardized God's character. Usually, God is not the way religion portrays him.
Right.
And so I'm hoping that God can use me to show some of the truth and some of the light, that showing the character that he really is, how he really loves people, and what he really would like to see. And then you have the Son, Christ, and he's been really manipulated and bent and twisted around by religion. So I'm just hoping I can be somebody that can just be very, very simple, very organic, and someone can look and go, okay, now I think I kind of understand God a little bit more, And so that's my mission.
Okay. Are you going to, before you get ready to get out of here, I got just a couple more questions. Are you going to be doing, because I know you're in ATL, you're in Atlanta right now, you planning to go back out to the West Coast and do any shooting out there, or head back to Canada and do any there?
Yeah, I'm going back to LA to shoot. I'll be spending time there and time here in Atlanta. I think Atlanta is going to be my East Coast connection. Okay. And of course, West Coast to be Los Angeles. Even though Los Angeles is on a slow decline, it's still got the romance, it's still got the energy, it's still got the actors.
Right.
It's still Hollywood,
Right.
So you and I talked about that off the air. It's still the place to be if you're in this industry,
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you have to be there all the time, but, you need to be there sometime.
Yeah, I agree. At some point in time, you almost got to touch that ground. Where do you see, I've thought about this a bit. Okay, there's New York on the East Coast, and there's obviously Atlanta too, doing a lot of big things. In Vegas is sometimes on the map too. Do you think we'll have an East Coast location that will become what LA used to be, or in some ways still is?
If it happens, it's going to have to be through a chain of events. It could happen a couple of ways. One could just be time, and it could take 20, 30 years, 40 years. Number two could be an event, catastrophe catastrophe, God forbid,
Right.
an earthquake, that I'm talking a bad one in Los Angeles, it just flattens a lot of things.
Yeah.
To where the studios say, you know what, I'm not going to rebuild. I'm going to, Nevada. I'm going to Arizona. I'm going to go to Atlanta. That's possible. But all the stuff that we're talking about is highly unlikely because LA still has the moguls there. They've still got the movie stars there. They've got the heads of the studios live there. They love the weather. You know, so it's going to take it'll take a catastrophe to change things overnight.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Before we go, let shout out to everybody that the website that they can go to check out your upcoming projects, and also once again where they can go find out where to order the DVD or get the book, or how they can get in touch with you to take classes, because you're doing classes too where they can come in and sit down and learn too, right?
That's right, I am. I'm doing 101s, one-on-ones, and I teach writing classes. I teach them over the phone. I teach them online. I teach them in person. I teach acting classes, teach filmmaking, directing. They can go to DavidHeavener.com, and that's David Heavener, Heavener.com, and click film and acting. Or they can contact me at david@davidheavener.com. David@davidheavener.com. And just let me know they were listening to Keith's show.
All right. Yeah. Listen, everybody, you heard that, internationally and worldwide. So, get your calling cards. If you're somewhere, obviously, if you're somewhere outside of the States, you may be in UK or Romania or wherever you might be right now, just hit the websites, because I know everybody's online. So go to the website and check David Heavener out. And also, go look, David. What's the best place to go check out some of your past movies? Because he has been in a lot of films, and if you guys haven't seen some of your favorite films, go check them out. Is there certain websites that they can go to and check those out?
The best thing to do is just Google my name, put my name in, and you'll see tons of sites that carry my different films and stuff. And if you want an autographed film, I have some in my library. You can contact me, and I charge for it, but I autograph it and I'll send it out to you. And but you can get my movies anywhere. Get them off Amazon or any place. But if you want something that's autographed, you just contact me.
Okay. And one more question. This is kind of a question really for myself too, and I'm sure a lot of other people out there would like to know. Agents. How important, let's say somebody's coming up and they want to start to get into films and they want to get out there. Besides the headshots and different things, is it necessary or essential at all to find an agent?
To find an agent?
Yeah, to have an agent to represent a person.
You mean as far as being an actor?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Are there agents for? Okay, so there are agents for other parts of the industry other than just acting. Like, are there different types of agents?
Yeah. You have a screenplay agent that handles literary agent. They handle writing.
Okay.
You have agents that handle directors and producers, and then of course you have agents that handle acting.
Okay, yeah. So the acting side.
Yeah, it's important. There's a lot of actors that work a lot and they don't have agents. But look, it doesn't hurt to have an agent and still go out and get your own gigs.
Okay. All right, and in that way, right? So in that way, it's really good to network. Now, would that be something else that that people might be able to learn in your courses as well, possibly?
Oh yeah, absolutely,
okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I teach it all. When I teach acting, I don't just teach acting. I teach how to go get the job.
All right.
And how to keep yourself from getting fired, or how to keep yourself from making people not like you.
Right.
So a lot of times it's not what you say; it's what you don't say. Actors have a tendency to get nervous
Okay, that's right. Okay, good. So it covers everything. Everybody out there who wants to know, and I asked that question because look, part of the reason, just like you just mentioned, as a matter of fact, sometimes people don't know the right questions to ask, and then they leave and they go, oh my goodness, I should have said this, or had I asked this, I might would have got more information. So that is very important, which is just another reason to make sure that you guys get these courses, because a lot of people give them, but but
that's right, Keith.
Right, David here is covering everything. All right, look, David, it's been an honor to have you on the show today. I'm glad we talked, and listen, I look forward to having you back on the show as well this year. Once you've done more, worked on your horror films that you have coming out, your 8-minute episodes now. Are you planning to air those on the internet, or?
Well, I'm making those for a company. I can't really say more than that.
Okay.
But, they will be on the internet, but we're also talking to some television networks about these things, and so they'll be on the internet and probably some type of television exposure.
Okay.
And they'll be sold in the foreign market too.
Okay, that sounds great. All right, everybody out there, you've been listening to the Keith Harris Show, Industry International, with a very special guest, well-respected David Heavener. Make sure you go check him out. Go check out all his movies. Just like he said, you can pretty much Google him, and he'll pop up, and you'll find out everything you need to know. Or you can go to IMDb as well, and it'll give you a list and a rundown of all the different projects and movies he's been in. Make sure you go check out the website as well, sign up for the classes, and and David, look, it's been a pleasure talking to you, and we will hear from you soon. And look out for me, man. I'm as a matter of fact, I'm gonna jump in one of those classes myself. So I got some things I need to work on.
Keith, anytime you want to take a class, you let me know. I'll make you a superstar.
Hey,
a bigger star than what you are.
Hey, look, I thank you, and coming from you, man, that's an honor. So look, expect me in class learning something great from you.
Okay, my friend. Thanks a lot. God bless you, and I appreciate the time.
All right. God bless you, too. Talk to you later, Dave.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That was David Heavener. Once again, one of the greats. All right. He's been doing it for a long time. Knowledgeable person, great actor as well, wonderful producer, and so many other things. Make sure you follow up on his projects. Also, remember that you can catch, if in case you missed the interview or just tuning in late, it will be up on the website later on for you to be able to catch the full interview. Make sure you check out Facebook, Twitter, and all of those for that. All right, so once again, we send a big shout out and a super huge thank you to David Heavener for being on the show today and talking to us. Great guy. That's what we love here at the Keith Harris Show, Industry International, right here on wearehotline.net. Now, you guys stay with us. Don't you go nowhere. It's Friday, so we're going to get into some more great music for y'all, and we'll be right back in just a little while.